When you think pyramids, your mind probably jumps straight to Giza, right? Those massive, iconic, smooth-sided triangles against the desert sky. But what if I told you the story doesn't actually start there? That the true origin of these wonders is a different and maybe even more revolutionary structure? Okay, so let's get into it. The question sounds simple, but the answer? Well, it takes us back almost 4,700 years to a single moment that changed architecture and history forever. It's a story of incredible ambition, pure genius, and a totally radical new idea. And this is it. This is the one that started it all. Not Giza. This is the step pyramid of King Djoser at Saqqara. Now, it might not look like the pyramids are used to, but believe me, every single one of them owes its existence to this incredible monument right here. To really wrap our heads around just how groundbreaking this was, we've got to look at what came before, because this wasn't just a small step forward. It was a complete revolution in how people thought about building something that would last. So, before Djoser's pyramid, this was the royal standard. It's called a mastaba, basically a rectangular single-story tomb made of mud brick. Yeah, it's functional, I guess, but it's basically designed to fail. Mud brick dissolves, it crumbles, it just returns to the earth. They weren't built for eternity, because the very idea of building for eternity in stone hadn't really been born yet. So who's behind this massive leap forward? Well, it all comes down to the vision of two extraordinary people. A king who desperately wanted to live forever, and the genius who actually figured out how to make it happen. And here they are. On the left, you have King Djoser, the pharaoh with an immortal ambition. And on the right, his chief minister and architect, Imhotep, the visionary who could bring that dream to life. These two, together, were about to invent the pyramid and create the world's very first large-scale stone building. So Djoser, he was the founder of Egypt's third dynasty, a really pivotal time. And he just wasn't satisfied with the simple mud brick tombs his ancestors had. He had a much grander vision. You could even call it an obsession with permanence. He wanted a monument that would secure his legacy and his soul for all time. And Imhotep was absolutely the man for the job. He wasn't just an architect. This guy was the king's vizier, his chief minister, a physician, an engineer, a true polymath. His official title was Overseer of All Stoneworks, and he was about to take that title to a whole new level. So what was Imhotep's big idea? Well, it was one of those things that's so simple it's brilliant, and just incredibly audacious. He decided he would build a literal stairway to the heavens for his king, using a material nobody had ever used on this scale before: stone. You see, Imhotep's genius was that the idea grew over time. He didn't just design a huge pyramid from scratch. He started with what he knew, a single mastaba. But, and this is key, he built it from stone, not mud brick. Then came the light bulb moment. Let's put a smaller one on top, and another, and another. The design kept growing, expanding twice, until it became this six-stepped giant, a true stairway reaching 200 feet into the sky. And to really put this into perspective, this leap was just monumental. It's seriously like going from a simple wooden hut to a modern skyscraper, all in a single generation. The scale, the material, the engineering, it was all completely, totally new. And really, this is the thing you have to remember. Before this, large-scale buildings were made of stuff that rots and decays. Imhotep's pyramid was the world's first major stone building. This one innovation laid the foundation for pretty much every great monument that came after, from the Parthenon all the way to the Colosseum. But here's the thing. Imhotep's genius didn't even stop with the pyramid itself. He didn't just build a tomb. He designed an entire eternal city for his king's spirit, this huge, sprawling complex filled with symbolic buildings. Just look at this map of the complex. It really shows you the true scale of his vision. The step pyramid was the centerpiece. Yeah, but look, it was surrounded by courtyards, temples, and chapels, all of it enclosed inside this massive wall. This wasn't just a grave. It was a complete, self-contained world for the pharaoh's soul. Okay, so for example, when you walked into the complex, you go through this absolutely incredible colonnade, a hallway made of 40 limestone columns, all carved to look like bundles of reeds. This was another architectural first. Nothing like it had ever been seen before in the world. And even the little details were revolutionary and packed with meaning. The massive outer wall, for instance, was decorated with these cobra reliefs. It's a powerful symbol of divine authority, meant to protect the king on his journey into the afterlife. But You know, as amazing as all this stuff is on the surface, it's literally only half the story. Because beneath that stone pyramid, Imhotep engineered a secret, hidden world of just staggering complexity. Get this, there are nearly 6 kilometers. 6 kilometers of tunnels, galleries, and rooms carved out of the solid bedrock right under the pyramid. It was a subterranean labyrinth designed to confuse any tomb robbers and to house everything the king could ever possibly need for eternity. And right at the heart of that maze, the king's actual burial chamber was at the bottom of a shaft 28 meters deep. Now, stop and think about that for a second. That's like digging straight down a 9-story building. And then, to seal the whole thing up after the burial, they didn't just lock a door. No way. They lowered a massive 3.5-ton granite plug down the shaft, blocking the entrance supposedly forever. So really, when you look at this whole thing, you're not just looking at a tomb. You're looking at the prototype, the proof of concept that would go on to shape Egyptian civilization for the next 1,000 years. And that brings us to the legacy. Because the step pyramid, well, it wasn't the finish line. It was the starting gun for what was basically the greatest building race in human history. And at the end of the day, this is its true legacy. Every single pyramid that came later, including those famous ones at Giza, was built on the knowledge that was gained right here. Organizing the massive workforce, quarrying and moving stone on an industrial scale, the engineering, the architecture, all of it was tested and perfected at Saqqara. Imhotep and Djoser didn't just build a tomb, they built the future. And all of this kind of leaves you with one last thought, right? This incredible monument of stone has stood for almost 5 millennia, a testament to what humans can do. And it makes you wonder, doesn't it? What are we building today that will still be standing, still telling our story 4,700 years from now?